So this video is to give a little bit of context about how I started, what I do today, and a bit of my background so you can know a bit more about me. Many of you know me as Felix New. Some of you know me from meditations, from the book that I wrote, and some of you know me from the music that I did, which gradually became more uplifting when I figured out what I was doing there. And yeah, both things that I really love. And to take the story back, maybe right to the beginning, not quite to the birth, but at 7 years old, I moved to the UK from Germany. I really loved my life in Germany. It was kind of just open fields and playing around with the other kids in the sandpit and just being free, young, wild, all the good stuff. Then I moved to the UK and it was quite different. It was like houses and people lived in houses, but they didn't really mix that much. That was my experience where I lived. I'm sure somewhere else is completely different. And there's also that young, wild, free vibe. But that wasn't that much my experience. So at first I didn't really love it. But gradually I came to love, the UK. And I actually went to a European school where half of my lessons were in German and half of them were in English. So that helped to integrate because I couldn't speak a word of English when I came here. And so I know what it feels like to be a bit of an outsider. Now, that outsider theme carried on throughout my life because I never really felt particularly in the right place. I wasn't very good at maths, I wasn't very good at school really, because I felt like for some reason I was very slow at processing things. And but only the things that I wasn't that passionate about, so that's a good question there. So school was a bit hit and miss. I definitely continued that outsider theme, didn't really felt like I belonged there. With some of the people I did feel that, but not everyone. And the subjects at school were not really, they weren't really my thing. I loved sociology, I loved, I think that's about it. But there wasn't too much creativity going on there, right? And I loved to freestyle on my free time with my friends when we were going out. We would just like freestyle along and beatbox, I'm not going to beatbox for you now, but I'm a bit rusty on that front. But I always loved that creative thing, but that didn't really feature at school. So what happened then at around 18 when people were off to uni, I said to myself, well, I like to help people because I was always told one of my greatest gifts is I make everyone feel included. And that's something that's really important to me because deep down, I think I've never really seen a difference between people. Like, okay, you're officially popular, you're officially not popular. That might be what people say, but I'm going to be kind to you anyway because you're a human being. And trust me, that wasn't always the case. I'm as flawed as everyone else. I'm as weird, as strange as everyone else. But somehow there was that element, and I always wanted to help people. Now, I also wanted to be seen as someone smart, and I wanted to have status and money. So I was like, you know what? Let me go to law school. I can help people, I can make money, and people admire me for what I achieve and what I do. And I went to law school, and life was like, all right, this is not for you. This is not for you. I found the stuff like very dry. And what ended up happening for different reasons, partying, sleeping, and not sleeping, what ended up happening is I got glandular fever very intensely that I couldn't really eat, swallow, water. It wasn't really a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but it was hard. I was really knocked out. I had night sweats pretty much every night for months, and I had no energy, fatigue, and that energy didn't come back for 4 years. So I had all this time I then transitioned into sociology, which I kind of liked because that was quite easy to transfer to, and I wanted to have some kind of direction in my life where I didn't have energy but I wanted to feel like I'm doing something, because I think that's quite important, to have a purpose, a goal, something that you work towards. And that was that for me. So gradually I explored health, nutrition, all that stuff, and tried out different things, and I somehow got better, but it was a very, very arduous, is that even a good word for this? Very tricky, difficult, draining, disencouraging, bloody hard time. Just feeling disconnected from everyone and not being able to participate in life, going to social gatherings like everyone else, having the energy to do things, and finishing uni was a bit of a struggle, to be honest, too, in terms of energy, but that got better. And then I graduated and I was like, oh, let me get a graduate job. And then life again was like, you're not getting a graduate job. You got something else to do. Possibly, that's what I felt. And so I started experimenting with music, just like recording on beats, and letting out some of that pain. At the same time, I wrote this book, My Happiness Button, with everything that helped me through that difficult time, which was discovering meditation, being in the present moment, acceptance, gratitude, you name it, the list goes on. If you've read the book, you know. And it's really quite a basic book, to be honest with you. It just has the core pillars of what really helped to shift things for me. And so I started working with disabled students on the side, particularly with blind students, autistic students as well. That really gave me a little bit of money, because before that I was just doing university experiments, like letting them put like electrodes on my head, and all kinds of weird stuff. It wasn't too weird, but all kinds of stuff just to make a bit of money, and at the same time exploring these things that were really creative for the first time in my life. Actually doing what I wanted to do. And I wasn't very good at music. I didn't have any idea how to do it, or I didn't know how to write a book, but I kind of just felt like that was my only option. So I applied myself, started putting in the hours. 10,000 hours later, started getting better at what I do, and started to, I put the stuff out pretty early on, actually, because I thought I was amazing, as we all do when we get started. But then the feedback and the resonance wasn't really there. So I knew the best way to promote my stuff, I realized, was just to get better at my craft. And that'd be my advice if you're starting anything. You want to, get the word out about what you do. One of the best ways to promote yourself is just to get better at what you do. And no one has a problem paying for the best. So if you become the best or something like that, just get better. It's going to help you for sure. Instead of wasting hours like spamming people and stuff. You can do that too, and that might help here and there. But that's kind of what I did. And eventually what happened is meditation became such an important part of my life to balance, because I'm sure, like you, global events and dynamics, I'm not going to get too much into family dynamics and stuff, but growing up, dynamics were a bit tricky. So I developed this like people pleaser thing, and always taking myself back, not really doing what I want, because I didn't have to. No one said I had to do anything, but I felt like I couldn't be a problem, right? So I always just catered to other people, and that also translated in my life, of course, even when the dynamics weren't as important. That is a trauma, like a people-pleasing trauma. That is something that I'm working on still, to this day, every single day. You can just chip away at it and be kind and compassionate to yourself in the process. I think that's key. And meditation became such an important part of my life to balance, and I realized that I had somewhat of a talent to create something soothing for people, and because I had the experience of going through the health struggles as well, I feel really passionate about helping people with meditations that really help to just, calm your mind when you go through something difficult, and when you're in transition back to physical balance, mental balance. So that became a really important part of my life, and I started uploading tracks on Insight Timer, and they were really well received. So really was leaning into that the last 2 years, and it's been a beautiful journey to connect with other teachers, although I wouldn't even call myself a teacher. I'm just a dude spreading love. That's how I see it. No guru, just a dude spreading love. It's my new slogan. But that's really key. So really leaning into that these days, creating stuff to uplift you, to tap into unconditional love. When I said uplift, I just remembered that my music became more and more uplifting, like the song Feeling So Good that many of you might have known, which has kind of like a dancehall flavor to it. And to be honest with you, the last 2 years for me have been like really quite difficult, that I struggle to create music like that. But I feel like I'm slowly coming back around to that. Just with health issues myself, like I was dealing with a bit more stuff, which I think is quite normal to be triggered during such a difficult time. But I feel like I'm slowly getting back into that, so I'm really excited for that. But still feel like I got some healing to do right now myself, and really just trying to hold space for people, if that is in a one-to-one capacity, just seeing how I can mirror something back to people, how I can serve, how I can love and be loved maybe. That's really the place I'm in right now. It's I also work. This is another thing. I mean, this could be a 5-hour long video, and I'm sure if you were to create something about your life like this, it could be equally long, maybe more interesting. I don't know. If you're watching till now, you probably find this to some degree interesting. So let me just wrap it up by saying I also met this company when I was, experimenting with music, doing kids songs, called Kieferfreund, which means jaw friend. And we developed this app together to tackle jaw tension, teeth grinding, clenching naturally with like video instructed exercises. I'm in the app, you can literally see me doing the exercises, and I learned so much about jaw health and how important the jaw is, and how actually it's such a survival based old mechanism that just clenches down to protect the brain and the spine, and sometimes it just stays, and then people have a lot of tension, and they can do damage to their teeth, etc. So I work with them as well, and have also introduced the meditation element for them a bit more recently, which is amazing what you can do when you just bring conscious awareness and a bit of relaxation into the jaw, letting go of some kind of clenched down emotions that you have there. Yeah, I feel like Ralph Smart, if you know Infinite Waters, would do. It feels amazing to be alive, and I'm grateful for this experience, for this day, for this moment. And I hope that in any way possible I can inspire you to just be more self-compassionate, spread more love, shine your light brightly, serve those that need you, and trust that you'll be taken care of by life, by this force that guides and operates through everything. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you for listening. See you soon. I do live meditations every week. Wash Away Wednesday, where we wash away things that don't serve us and transform. So Wash Away Wednesday, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time, or maybe the time will change by the time you watch this video. But just so many opportunities to connect, and I look forward to connecting with you, to co-creating a beautiful future together. Take good care of yourself. Much love.